got brains to match the quote. The mother of the Hoodwives, I'll fist no folders. Talking love to my niggas, stay up like Folgers. Bust the hands in the mouths like God is grown. See the time is close, open wares are dormant. Forget the doubt, love the women in here cause they gave us clout. Freedom over power, so tell me what your thought juice is. Cause I bring the bottles and the truth is I'ma lay it out for all the fools here. I make it clear, 100-proof pit, ayy. Princess E money, time to cash out. Fuck commando for the shortest, hard clips out. Do a little dance, shake a little ass. I'm just tryna ask, what's your thought juice? Dun dun dun.
Let's go. What is up, everybody? It is your girl / boy, Iman Loren like Polo, Princess E money as ever. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Real Hoodwives Chicago, a real show with hot sauce stories. We go live every other Thursday here on Chicago For Real, but also on my multiple Facebook pages. But honestly, Facebook is dying, so I appreciate y'all for being here. Like, social media is a fucking construct. Like, just life, world, people, but not you. It's a construct. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for supporting me. Thank you to my team, Chicago For Real. And we are ready to get into another episode. I'm really excited to talk to our guest today. I've been in community with this artist, with this person, with this gentleman for some years now, I would say, in performing in the same spaces. And I'm really excited to share him with you all and get to know him a little bit more. And I can't wait for you all to get to know him a little bit more. Please make some noise for the one, the only, LA VanGogh. Woot woot. I usually have air bombs, but not yet. I'm getting there.
I hear them in my head. So
yes.
They're there.
Awesome. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yes. I'm happy to be here. I'm kind of like a little out of it. The heat is throwing me.
It was unexpected.
Yeah.
A little bit of,
Yeah.
in the system.
Yeah.
That combined,
Yeah.
I feel a little wavy.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
How have you been? Well, first of all, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure.
For us.
What should I look?
You can look there. Yeah. You can look here. That camera is all for you.
Okay.
Yes, but you can also look at me.
You did such a good introduction.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You kind of make me a little nervous.
I'm sorry.
No, it's like a good nerves. I think everybody needs butterflies.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. It means you care about it.
Yes.
That's really what it boils down to.
That's a good way of looking at it. I was down south most recently. I just came back to Chicago. I was visiting my family in Raleigh, okay. And I haven't seen them in a very, very long time. So, in like almost over 10 years. So I was like embracing, I was embracing all of that. So I like the positive of how you say that. But pardon me for cutting you off. Why don't you tell us who you are again?
Well, I'm LA VanGogh, human being. I don't know, just all around shapeshifter. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. What does LA VanGogh mean, aka the Da Vinci of 16s?
Funny.
So, Are you impressed?
That line is just so funny every time I hear it. No, it's mine. It's my line. But I was 16 or like 15 when I wrote that.
Really?
So hearing it again, it's definitely like it's a time machine. Like it takes me back there. But my name, LA, those are my initials. Great. L and A. And then VanGogh came from that rap. So in that rap, I say I'm the Da Vinci of 16s, the Van Gogh of the flow. Paint a picture in your head when I write it like Poe. And since then, one of my friends, Demarius, who I was in a group with at the time, he just started calling me Van Gogh. And it stuck. And my name before that was LA McFly. So McFly, Van Gogh, I'm happy with the choice I made.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. I like that your name arrived from a rap and from a very pure place. Yeah. I feel like when I first started writing and things like that, when I knew I was going to be the shit, which I already knew humbly and respectfully, I was like, what the hell is my name going to be? And I asked Facebook, but they said Iman Loren. It's unlike no other. It's yours. Take it everywhere you go.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of LA names, in case you can tell.
Of LA names?
My name is Iman Loren. My mother's name is Laura.
Oh, true.
My father's name was Danny Lawrence.
Okay.
So it's kind of a tradition.
Dang.
Yeah.
And now you got Lamont.
Yeah. So I feel like we ride it on like the same swing.
Okay.
Yes. How have you been amidst the pandemic, the fucking heat that we just got? Like, how have you been?
It's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
The honest answer is depressed.
Really?
Not recently though. I've been fine recently, but last year was tough. Mm-hmm. Last year was really tough. There was a lot of isolation, obviously, and a lot of time that I may not have had to myself. I had to process a lot of feelings. Yeah. Process a lot of what was going on, and it was hard. It was hard for a lot of the year. Picked up a lot of new coping skills. Yeah. And now I just feel like I'm in a better place. That's good. You know? I'm really happy to hear that. And I'm so happy that you're so expressive about that. Right. I'm really excited to talk to you about that because that was one of the pleasantries that I found in doing my research and preparing this interview for you, is that you're a big advocate for that. So, and I'm also happy that you're extending your time because this might be a first over an hour show. Yes, the fans, y'all lucky. Y'all get like two amazing, beautiful people to look at. Like for an hour and a half. For an hour and a half. I have a podcast voice, so we can definitely make this. You do have a podcast voice. You're very smooth. I think that's why I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, my anxiety, my jitters. I don't want to stress this. Normal things. Yes. All normal things. I appreciate that. Very normal. Well, before I forget, this is a segment called What's Your Thought Juice? Dun-dun-dun. And we have another first on the Real Hoodwives Chicago. We are having a beautiful, illustrious tea. Why don't you tell us what your thought juice is? So, take us through it. Have, yes, as you see, Miss Iman Loren holding Throat Coat, an herbal tea blend that will soothe all of this in here. Good for your throat chakra. Sounds salacious. You got some words. Matt Muse said, "Hen dog." What up, Matt? Matt, what's up, man? What else do we have? We have another option for you. We also have Celestial Peppermint Tea. Sponsor us. Please. That's the only way you can finish that sentence. We got you also some honey, some water on the side if you want to refill. And we also got some Looney Tune mugs. You're rocking the Tasmanian Devil. Absolutely. I'm rocking the Tweety Bird. This is a very at-home show. I feel very comfortable. I feel comfortable. Also, you are the first to ever really play with that pillow. Really? Yes. This is such a comforting thing. Like during an interview. Come on. This is me in therapy. I always have a pillow. I'm holding on to something. I'm trying to be on brand. You know what I'm saying? Oh. We have a lot of people are dropping their thought juices. So people were ready for us. Peach tea for me. Some peach tea. Peach tea. It's a hot summer day. When you said you wanted tea, I was like, ooh, ice cubes. But no. Yeah, I did say hot tea. It's okay. I was preparing for the effect of me smoking. Yes. Yes. That dries out your throat. Yes. Throat is perfect. Yes. This is a 420 friendly show. Oh, okay, cool. Just not a 420 friendly space. But we will get to a 420 friendly space eventually. Yeah. Yes. That'll be fire. Awesome. So I want to ask you some questions. Thank you to all of the guests that are dropping the comments, that are joining us. Please continue to share that support. Please continue to hit the share button. Make sure that you follow LA VanGogh at LA VanGogh. Yes, please follow me at Iman Loren and us at Hoodwives of Shy to keep on going with us. So you began writing music really fucking early, at the age of 6, right? And it started from poetry? Yeah. Come on, poet. Come on, poet. And that's that piece. Yeah, I was 6 when I had first started writing things that I knew were creative. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was just, I didn't know I was writing songs or anything. I'm just a big fan of literature. Yeah. So like you said, a lot of it was birthed out of poetry and rap, good rapping. I think I wrote a lot of short stories, like just through English class exercises.
You were an English kid?
Yeah.
Me too.
So it just naturally translated into rapping. That was just my love for it. I think my first poem or something that I read out loud to people was about abortion. I'm serious. I'm like 12 years old.
Were you inspired by Maxwell?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I did like Maxwell a lot though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was called Death Before Life or something like that. And I was just, a deep thinker even then.
I could see that. Yeah, you answered so many questions I had, which I'm really happy for. I often remember my first traces of like inspiration too. I was raised on A Different World. And that was the first, that's my favorite. That's my absolute favorite show. Like my drag name is Bitchley Gilbert. Like I am obsessed with A Different World. That was the first time I seen a Nikki Giovanni piece. That was the first time I seen like a black ballerina, like Jasmine Guy doing like AV dances. It was just amazing. So I really understand just like always being an inspired kid, and I give you that credit. So your flows were heavily inspired by like Lupe and like Wayne, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What made you like attracted to those those rappers?
They're just entertaining. Like I'm a visual person.
Right.
So they rap very visually, especially Lupe and Lil Wayne. Like those are just two of the people I listen to the most. There were a lot of other artists I listened to, like Charles Hamilton, Jay-Z.
Charles Hamilton, I can't stay, that nigga. No, that's Anthony Hamilton.
Hamilton. That's totally different dude. Yeah, he was a rapper from, I want to say Harlem. Had this really cool mixtape called The Pink Lava Lamp, amongst other mixtapes. He was somebody that I just drew inspiration from. Kanye, obviously. Dipset, like.
Was you like a Cam or like a Jewel?
Like a Cam, J.R. Writer, Rel, kind of fan. You know?
So I'm really curious because like I really love to do music, and I've talked about this with a few of my past guests. My most recent guest, Lucy, I've talked about that. Please check out her episode. Kari, I've talked about this with Kari. Just the idea of like sound and composition and me wanting to come into this music. So if you can like give me any advice, because I know that like I guess like sonically or melodically your inspirations like come from like Frank Ocean and D'Angelo, right? So like how did you like come with like industry where, hey, I'm not just a singer, like I'm a singer rapper, or like what's T-Pain's first album, rapper turned singer. Yeah. So like how was that process, and like what's some advice or tips and tricks you can give me?
A few things come to mind.
Okay.
One of the first things is one of my favorite quotes, a very popular quote by Bruce Lee. Be water, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like you follow where the flow takes you when it comes to creativity. And then the second thought that I have after that is acknowledging that you have good taste and that you know what you like. And in knowing that you produce what you like, you produced out of good taste. And it was hard for me to find my voice and, like the place I was comfortable singing and rapping from until I just accepted that these ideas are not so much attached to me and my ego personally, but attached to me as if I'm a vessel, like a messenger. And it allows a lot more room for any type of creativity to show up. I think for a lot of rappers, especially who came up in the era of what I listened to, there was a very masculine necessity in it, so to speak, where it was like you had to be one way when you rapped, this very like either nasally or breathy, say it with your chest.
You speaking facts.
And that's what I had to break away from.
Yes.
That's what I had to move away from in finding my own voice, just making what I think sounds good. And then also making myself good enough to do what I think sounds good. So it's a balancing act between staying passionate about, you know, what it is that you like and what you do, and also staying, in a sense, disciplined.
Yeah.
I'm not super disciplined when it comes to writing now, but like when I really started learning, I was like writing all the time. Mm-hmm. And not because I felt like I needed to write a verse a day, but that's just how many ideas that I had.
Yeah.
So, I think that answers the question.
That was a great answer. You're very thorough. Shout out to you. Very focused. I was saying that on the way here, how I'm rooting and aiming for more organization. I consider myself a very disciplined person? I think so. I'm gonna just credit myself there. But organization is not what I lackluster, but what I can always be better at, what I strive for being better at. And I can't wait to just record music in my closet and just take it to an engineer and have it mastered. Like, I'm really inspired by her and her making beats at her Tesla. Yeah. I'm like, damn, that could really fucking be me.
It could be.
Yeah. And I love what you said about moving away from like what other people want to like categorize your sound as, or what other people want to like project onto you. Because I feel that a lot with being like a rapstress or being like a femme musician. Like I don't want to sound a certain way to be taken serious. You know, like I don't want to feel like I have to rap like a nigga or have the same energy or the same like girth like as a nigga to like to be claimed as a rapper. Yeah. And I don't want to be diluted down to my sensuality and my femininity for a singer with some swag to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate your advice for saying that. Yeah, that's right.
There's a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's all small stuff. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's a great book. It's a series of books, actually. And what that book taught me, in response to what you just said, is like nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Like a lot of what we think or what we imagine people are even projecting on us, or what we project other people may assume about us. Nobody's really thinking those things. Yeah. Nobody's like, and even if they are, at what point does it reach you? At what point does it impact you? You know? And I think a lot of what you said, actually, there is a lot of impact that comes with those type of perceptions. But, you know, all in all, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Thank you. So, you've performed in many places, like I mentioned earlier. You've done Windy City Live. Yeah. You've done So Far Sound Chicago. Yeah. And what is like your goal with like networking, like as an artist? Because I was telling you, like I was really trying to like find so much stuff about you, but I've seen that you have like many collaborations, and that's really, really cool. So like, what is like your goal with like networking and collaboration?
Again, I think it just goes back to taste, in a sense that I just do stuff that feels good, that I think would turn out well, that might just be, that makes sense, you know, at my position in my career. When it comes to networking, I'm just reaching a point where I feel like I'm sure of who I am and what I present.
Really?
Yeah. And that makes, it makes the goal, I guess, different. You know, I never want to leave this space where I feel like I'm me. You know, if I feel like I'm becoming or moving into a space that's not as much who I am at the core, then I just don't do it. Like if I'm not moved, I don't do stuff, you know. And luckily I've had these brands that are of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like recognized, of recognition, you know, that, you know, it works out in my favor to help push my brand forward. You know.
How does so being like Dalton born, Chicago bred, right?
Actually, Harvey born.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in Harvey, raised in Dalton, like back and forth between Dalton and Harvey.
Okay.
And then moved to Chicago.
You a South Sider.
Super South.
You a super South Sider. I like that in you. What made you want to what was like the encouragement behind like your expansion, like you expanding?
Like to the city or well, I enrolled in UIC when I was 17. I started my first year at UIC.
Okay.
And
this is cool. I feel like I'm getting the first backstory on you. Like
this is a pretty good story actually. Yes. I'm excited to tell it. So yeah, I went to UIC maybe like a year later, or even that first year, I started going to open mics at UIC. Okay. There was a spot called Mojo's Pen, like one of the best open mic spots. Just so many dope artists came through there, and it's super chill, like no bigger than this space, like even smaller. And I met artists, met poets, met writers, singers, just people that got up to speak whatever was on their mind. Yeah. And then I learned about other spaces in the city, like YCA, like U Media, like where else would I go? DePaul. Anywhere where there was a mic or lack thereof. Yeah. You know, and some art. I just started to move around. Yeah. Met a lot of people, got better watching other people.
That's real. Can I just say for a moment, in listening to your responses to the questions that I've been asking you, you're very on point about like who you are and like how you feel. At least that's what I'm presuming, what I'm feeling from you. Right. And like to be like on this path of like certainty about yourself and like hearing that like that's what you've always been on, from like even the recollection of like when I remember first meeting you. Congratulations to you. I'm very proud of you. I just want to give you some flowers because you do very well for yourself. You know, that. Like what you say and like how you present yourself feels tangible. You know what I'm saying? You know, it feels like I don't say this to like diminish your hard work, but like it feels like anyone can do it. Like you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Real. Like I've wanted to ask you to be on my show for a while, and when I seen you in Hyde Park, I was surprised that you remembered. Like I was so astonished, and it took some courage to ask you the first time. Right. So I'm very happy.
I'm excited to be here. I was excited when you first asked me. I just thought it was really cool you were doing the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. So you are an advocate for, as we was talking about earlier, do you consider yourself an advocate for mental health? Because I know that in what I was researching about you, like that is like what a lot of like what you wanted to like most of your concepts of your music to hold and be about triumphs, about downfalls, about mental awareness, life attempts, et cetera, right? How do you continue to do that in your like music? Like, is that something that you're still holding on to?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think my main focus throughout my music is to really just paint a picture. And the older I've gotten, the harder it gets to paint imaginary pictures about things. You know, like I feel like, what I mean by that is like, when I was younger, it was easy for me to hypothesize about what went on in the world because I felt like I was a little green. Like, you know, my eyes weren't as open as they are now. So I would imagine what the world was like while ignoring the world around me, you know. Now I can't do that as much anymore. I can't like create a picture about this place on Mars and make it feel entertaining, make it feel real. So I have to write about what I'm going through. I have to write about what my friends are telling me they're going through, what my family is going through. And I try not to trauma bond in my music. You know, I try to be more so of like a messenger as to like what's happening in my mind, how I'm processing it, how I'm moving through it. And in that, I'm giving you a lot of these pictures. You know?
Yep. I was just going to ask, like your songs, do you feel like your songs work as messages?
Yeah, there's very specific songs. Like on my first project, one of my first projects, Everything is Subjective, like the song Be Careful Right? The hook is literally, I use my words like somebody use a Glock, be careful. Say the wrong thing, it can feel like getting shot, be careful, you know? And that whole song, the first verse I'm talking about an anxiety attack. The second verse I'm talking about the anxiety of being in a relationship with somebody that's insecure. So like all these things are just me translating what I'm dealing with in my life. How can I make it sound cool? How can I make it sound good?
No, I feel that. I really appreciate that. So I think that like, actually I know for sure that like therapy isn't accessible to everyone. I'm kind of like on a therapy route. Yeah, like that's like, you know, it's a yes and no. Like, yeah, there's resources, but like also the time, also the energy, also the insurance.
You're right.
Like, how did you, yeah, it's a lot. How do you think information is received or from like from community, from like folks who hold like resources and things like that?
How do I think the information?
Or like, do you think that like proper information and proper resources can be received from like community that holds space from them?
I think so. I do think that requires exposure to that community.
Very true.
And always, it's just not. It's still kind of taboo.
Yeah.
You know, like what I'm thinking about specifically is literally the Instagram pages I follow that are mental wellness practitioners, licensed therapists, life coaches, and what they post about. It took nuance. It took different people reposting that for me to see that. And if you don't have that, you know, those few degrees of separation, so to speak, then it's a lot harder to get to. So I think the information is out there. I think it is accessible up to a point. And then you go further beyond, like Instagram posts aren't enough for you to like cope with. It just makes you feel seen.
Yeah,
you get some advice from it.
It's an affirmation here. You know, it's a yoga pose, some breathing techniques, you know, it's something, a writing prompt. Yeah. It's something, you know, it's something. It's just about what you choose to tap yourself into. I don't, now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I don't think I've ever been more vocal about my mental health until now. And I think, and it sounds kind of obtuse, like considering myself a poet and a radical speaker, a radical like womanist thinker, and like to say I know I have anxiety, even though I've never been like diagnosed. It feels kind of scary, but also a little bit like frowned upon because a doctor hasn't given that to me. So it's like telling
like
something
elitism almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I want to like, I'm like, you know, sometimes I want to be like, hey, like I'm actually like really stressed out. And like I really like want to like fucking cry. And like I am a crybaby, but like it's like taking me there, you know. It's like to say that to someone without having like any type of like form or paperwork behind it feels kind of like doubtful and like stressful and scary.
Yeah, it's almost reminds me of gaslighting. Like,
do you think people do that a lot?
Gaslight?
Like gaslight you into thinking that you don't have something wrong with you?
Because
you don't have because you like don't have a therapist, or because you don't have like any diagnosis or any paperwork behind you or anything like that. Like, I feel like I really wish that people would like just take people's stories for it. And I still have a problem with that. I'm not gonna flex. I still have a problem with that. And I think it's because of my tongue. I think it's because of my anger. And I have to teach. I'm trying to be more patient and understand that everybody doesn't face their problems or show their problems the way that I show my problems or my issues. And everybody doesn't cope with their issues or their problems the same way I do.
Yeah.
So what may look like a shutdown or an emotional outburst for me could be someone just like taking it in and then like having an episode like that I don't see.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to give them more credit for that. And I think people should too, but I have to say that to myself first because I have failed on that.
It requires understanding, definitely. Yeah. I think I was having this conversation with, I can't remember who, but a few days ago, my homie Stock and Lon, actually, we were at Lon's crib, social distancing. And And we were talking about like how hard it is to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, especially in relation to stress and pain, until you felt a degree of stress and pain that changes your life. It's not an easy understanding to get to for a lot of people. Not even a lot of people are blessed enough to go past that point, you know, of having that experience and then saying, well, now I understand what another person might be going through.
Yeah.
I think the people that have that judgment or like want to tell you, well, maybe you're overreacting because you don't have an official diagnosis. Well, if you believe that much in the therapist or whoever's diagnosis and their credibility, then why should I take your word without those licenses, without your experience, you know? So I think that all of your experiences and how you experience your emotions are valid, are always valid. I think once they reach social and public discourse, it's easy for it to be eaten away. And with that being eaten away, it's easy for a lot of like your own security in what you're going through or believing what you're going through that is also eaten away. Yeah. So that's tough to go through. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing that.
I appreciate that. I mean, I feel comfortable to talk about it. I've never had this conversation with a guest before, which I think is super, super valuable. Do you want some more hot water?
I am still working on
this. Okay, good. Because I was like, okay, it's over there. No, this is the first time I've ever talked to a guest about it, which I think this is equally as important as any other subject, because that's what I really wanted my show to work as, is just like an archive of some sort that is accessible for all. One of my favorite things to do is like when I hear someone says, well, my therapist says, and like my ears are like wide open. Like I'm always eager to hear like things that like a therapist will say, like in conversation with like my friends or like my sisters, like, yeah, tell me, I don't have one yet. So give me something to think about.
Something my therapist said.
And do you have anything that you can share, or any techniques? Like what's a prompt you've been working on? What's a breathing technique?
So I guess there's a lot of things that come to mind. So I might just vent right now.
Come on, we got time. Come on, like you said, an hour and a half.
Everybody watching, grab a pencil, paper, write down as many things as you can. Okay. Because so many of these things help me. And I'm going to start with books.
Okay. Wait, I got a library behind me.
Okay. I'm going to take a tea break.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So there are probably like 3 books that I feel like changed the way I related to the world. Okay. And especially related to the world in respect to myself, if that makes sense. Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. Great. The title says it all. If you don't have an understanding about like what codependency is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what is codependency?
Maybe Google the word first. I can give my synopsis of it, but I think, looking to understand that word yourself is a lot more helpful. And it is basically, it's what it sounds like. It's in relation to relationships. You may be codependent on a person. You may be codependent on a substance. So your relationship with yourself and a substance.
Oh yeah, codependent is dependent on something. I get confused with like independence and dependence. I thought like being independent was a good thing.
It is.
And I thought like being dependent was a good thing. Like someone can depend on you, but
it's a lot of nuance in language, especially in English. And the difference that I've come to understand from this book is there is healthy interdependence where you have an agreed upon boundary and dependence on each other. And then there's codependence where most people will put it as like a relationship where the energy isn't reciprocal. That can be a codependent relationship. That could be a form of one. But like I said, look up the word if you're watching. If you want to check it out later. Codependent No More, Melody Beattie. Second book, The Tao of Fully Feeling. And Tao is spelled T-A-O.
T-A-O?
Yup.
The Tao?
The Tao of, what did I say? The Tao of Fully Feeling, Harvesting Forgiveness Out of Blame is the name of the subtitle. And that book really helped me do a lot of self-work with my inner child and grieve a lot of the relationships that I have lost up to this point in my life.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
That is very important for me. In my most recent trip to down south that I was telling you about, like I was crying, like I was bawling, and I was like, sheesh.
Yeah.
Get me the fuck home. But I didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, that's real. You think you heal from something until something.
So you're triggered.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that you'll always be triggered. Maybe not always, but one thing that
but that's factual
though is you learn it never goes away.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying by saying that. You learn how to deal with it better.
Yeah.
You learn different coping skills.
I feel like what you said is very realistic in my mind. Like, you know, you can be you can quote unquote triggered at any point, however firmly or loosely you want to use that, you know, but I think that's something realistic because for me, when I think about therapy, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be fixed. I'm going to be put together. I'm not going to be hurt no more. Yeah. And it's like, boo, like that's not 100% true. You know, it's always a process and you're still going to have to go through life. And I really wish that life was, once you found a balance, then it would just stay there. But sometimes you get wins and sometimes you get a kid that pushed you and sometimes you just get a lot of fucking things. So it doesn't matter how balanced you are, it's always going to be something. So I appreciate what you said. Like it can always be something.
The third book, before I forget.
Yes, thank you.
The Ethical Slut.
Oh my gosh.
I love that book.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to say I've read that book, but I've started reading that book.
Everybody has started reading that book. Like you reach a point and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much information. Yeah. I don't know if I can do this.
I had to unload. Yeah.
Exactly.
I had to unload. So you finished reading it?
No.
Okay.
I'm still somewhere on like in the hundreds.
Yeah.
But even what I've read so far has like,
that's funny how everybody knows that book.
Flipped my perception of relationship and how I experience relationship in regards to feelings and words like insecurity, jealousy, possession. Because I've always felt like I've had a hard time with that in regards to relationships. So reading a book where somebody's like, well, it doesn't have to be this way. Ask yourself these questions about why you feel jealous. What are you really asking? What do you really want to say to the other party at that point?
Yeah.
And just creating that thought process of like, well, why do I feel the way I feel about what I feel, about what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's a great start, especially following those other two books where you're just unpacking inner child work, shadow work, you know?
Shout out to you for giving us 3 books. Like, LA got the vibes. LA got the vibes that moves us on. Also, I've just seen something about shadow work. I seen like how, I don't know, I was on TikTok.
Okay.
And Witch Talk. And
Witch Talk. Wow,
yeah. That's what they call it.
Okay.
And there's something about a black candle involved. Like,
okay.
I don't know.
I don't know
neither. But maybe that was just a video. So maybe I'll do more research. Don't take no advice on that type of shadow work. Or maybe you do if that's for you. But speaking of the vibes that you were just on, congratulations are in order to you for your newest song, Japanese Silk. Correct? Yeah. Come on.
That's a one half of a video I just dropped.
Yeah, so it's a two-part video. I love the lyric video.
Off of my album.
Yes.
Experiment of an album, I like to call it.
Yeah. Who just dropped so it's like an experiment album that you're dropping?
So like the way I went about releasing it, I think is what was the experiment and experience. I just imagine like, I feel like people don't consume music the same way anymore, especially like consuming albums.
Oh.
So when I was dropping this project, I was like, well, if so many of these things that like artists think about, like playlist placement, blog coverage, marketing, if so much of that press releases that like I've just felt like that's changed, you know, so much. And over the years of just my own self-observation, most of my interactions come from doing the show face-to-face, or a genuine reaction of someone finding or sharing my music. So what that tells me is when I came to release this music, I was like, I don't need to have one single and then drop the album. No, again, not like this is just I believe in my music. I believe myself as an artist, but there's a realistic sense of like, there are so many people that don't care what the fuck I'm doing. Like, so if I'm dropping an album,
and they just gonna fuck with you.
No, I guess what I'm getting to is like, if I drop an album at this point in my career, there's so many people that just don't care. Mm-hmm. So let me not waste my energy and my mind and put a weight on how I should release this project. So saying all that to say, I released each song off the album in order, week after week. So it's just like consistent content. There was a visual for every one of them. Like, and I really just did it for the people that follow me on Instagram. And that was my whole goal going into it, was like, let me provide something of great quality to the people that really fuck with me.
Yes.
And for myself. Okay. So I did that over 10 weeks. Okay. Released the whole album. Trip in Japanese Silk was like the icing on the cake of like, hey, I did this. Okay. Go catch up. Like, go back and see what I just did, you know?
Yes. Okay. 2 things. So, beautiful point that you made. Because something that I get very anxious about is I'm a details bitch. Like, I'm a detail bitch. Like, I stress myself out. I will rip and run to make sure that everything is how I envision it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I see a little tweak, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, the people are gonna they're gonna notice that. They're gonna think I'm like sloppy, not put together. And it's like, similarly to what you said, so many people don't care. So many people fuck with you so much that they don't care. They just want to support you. And so like what you said about your shows and your venue, like, I see that, like, I feel that. And I really love it. Like, you're an artist out here doing it. And like your name really holds weight and really like rings bells, you know? So I'm like, just hear like just your rhythm. More. You know what I'm saying? It's just like pure community. Just pure community, back to that community tip that we were talking about. That's really beautiful to hear. Also, when I was in cohort, you know, I'm a teaching artist. I think I was talking, Matt was sharing his ideas and how he was inspired. If I'm not mistaken, that could be you, because I heard him mention someone who was like dropping videos, like dropping songs and videos every week. So that's like,
shout out to Matt.
Yeah, like that's really cool how like everything comes back full circle. But like you're doing it, and that's very, very inspiring. So what was Japanese Silk for? Is it for the ladies?
Of course.
Really?
Of course. That, you know how earlier I was talking about like I can't imagine pictures anymore when it comes to writing. Yeah. So over these last couple of years, like I've realized that what my life is about, and if I'm gonna make music that's true to me, is like literally all I do is, you know, work hard, spend time with my friends, spend time with my family, smoke weed, drink hella water, like stress about my health, and have romantic and platonic relationships. Like, and that's the only thing I can like really talk about. So Japanese Silk was one of those first expressions of vulnerability. Where I just like really dove into, I guess, that market, you know, like I feel like rapping more towards feminine energy and women. You know, like rapping just to rap about how good I'm rapping isn't fun. You know, like, I feel you. The guys in the room are just like, y'all support me, but y'all too shy to like turn up with me. You
still
know?
Got your backs on the wall.
You know.
No, but the
women are ladies so love welcoming. I have a lot of very pure relationships with just the women close to me in my life. So that's just good. Making music literally specifically for them. So Japanese Silk was about a partner I was with at the time. And if you listen to the song, you understand what it's about. I mean, obviously I did a little skit in the beginning.
I did I seen the whole lyric video and everything. Yeah. Like I really liked that. I was like, you know, this is a song I could fuck to. I fucked to Lil Durk before, and it gave me an energy I didn't know I needed.
Interesting.
I don't think I would go there again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fuck to Megan type of bitch. Like, maybe if I'm like in a car or something, but like, you know, like on a Spotify, like on the radio, I talk to. Yeah, I could throw Japanese Silk in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you should do a song with Drea to buy beer.
I want to say we've worked on stuff together briefly.
I know you have. You've done collaborations with Ambi Lyrics. Shout out to Ambi. We've had Ambi on the show. Manesi, Bella Boss is one of your most recent collaborations. Sam Trump. Like you be collaborating. What is it like mixing like your sound with another person's sound? Is it a challenge, or is it something that like you're always up to?
I'm more interested in it now than I used to be.
Right.
And in the sense that I would write a song, I would have something complete, and then I would bring it to them and say, hey, this is what I hear from you. This is what I would like to hear. You know, it's almost like an executive production aspect versus now. I was just in the studio with my homie Banks last night. Like I show up and I'm just like, what y'all doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, I got something on the keyboard. Oh, for real? First button.
Yeah.
Banger. Like instantly. And I'm just creating with people, having conversation. So collaborating now is more so like spur of the moment, whereas I still have my moments where I'm very calculated. Like in my music, where I have an idea. For example, the idea I had for Sam to do on that song Escapism. Like I was just like, I hear this. Sam is a great musician that I know. Let me hit him up. And I have personal relationships with the people that you mentioned. So just inviting them somewhere can really spark a lot of inspiration. Yeah. And then make collaboration really easy and accessible.
That's really beautiful. I feel like if I was to work in a studio on someone's song, I would always want them to take control. You know, at least just have some type of I like dominance, you know, in a lot of fields of my life.
Assertion.
You know? Assertion. I was just watching a Tina Turner documentary and she said, what the fuck she saying? She says, I want you to wear the trousers, but not to dominate me. Yeah. And I said, yes, Tina. That is exactly how I feel. And I feel that way when I like work with people for their image. Not for their image, for what they're wanting, for their creation. Yeah. So that's really cool. Hopefully we can collaborate together. Do you ever find yourself like making like love songs?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Blue Hyundai off of my project is a love song. Super love song. Like,
you think love songs can go different ways? Like they're more than just like fucking love songs. Like they're like there's also like fuck you love songs. Like love songs of self or no, I'll stick to the first question. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different love songs. There's self-love songs, you know, and then there are love songs about somebody you care about. There's romantic love songs. There's like admiration love songs. Blue Hyundai is a song about somebody that's just like a really good friend to me. You know, and just like how much I love them.
That's beautiful.
And I have been making a lot of music like around just embracing my melodies, my more feminine side, like my more vulnerable side. And it's been fun. Like I'm a huge fan of Anderson .Paak and like No Worries.
Oh my God, me too.
So
No Worries, yes.
No Worries, that album, I still play it to this day.
Come on,
won't you? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like that's my favorite Christmas album.
I'm not even a rapper anymore, dog. I'm a singer.
I love that album.
I'm T-Pain at this point, a rapper turned singer.
Yes, I absolutely love that album. Like come on, like I think that you and I are just precisely. We're both Scorpios.
No, I'm a Taurus, so I'm your opposite.
No, my best friend's a Taurus.
Yeah.
We don't argue about nothing at all.
That's crazy.
About absolutely nothing at all. Probably like out of the 10 years that we've been friends.
Yeah.
I only remember one argument, and it was like over weed, like very small. But I was younger. But that's great. Okay, I get it why we're sick. But so I'm so glad you mentioned that Anderson .Paak album, because there's a line where he says, "If I call you a bitch, it's because you're my bitch, and as long as no one else calls you a bitch, then there won't be no problems." Now I appreciate that line.
That's real.
You feel me? Like I would not be mad if my nigga or like my nigga bipartisan said that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I can give you that.
It was player.
It was player. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
You know?
But and also like with listening to your music, I don't hear you use much like bitches and hoes or like.
It's not like my grandma listens to my music, but if she listened to it and I was in it, she would.
Yeah.
Kick my ass verbally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
She would
you
let
still got
me
your
have
grandma?
It. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
See her, low key, I'm tweaking.
Love your grandma.
I do.
Ask her all the questions.
True.
Ask her all the questions.
While I was reading that one of those books that I gave you.
And record
those
them.
2 books. I was having a lot of conversations, asking her a lot of things. You know?
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah, record them every chance you get. So
yeah, but she wouldn't like it. Like I don't do it out of respect for her. That's probably 90% of it, and then 10% is just like the remaining, or just the respect that I have for women in general. It just doesn't feel natural. Like I use bitch as a noun word, like an expletive or like an exclamatory
like
point.
We in this bitch.
That's one. Or when you do something really cool and you just like bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's my favorite word.
Bitch,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's enjoyable in those contexts. And then like there's also an experience that I had in using the word bitch, where I think I was in grade school. I was testing the waters. I thought I was cool. You know what I'm saying? Got my little heart broke. So I called, the young lady, fellow 4th grader, bitch. And I got kicked in a place that I did not want to ever get kicked again.
Aww.
And I knew I was wrong before it left my mouth.
But you just had to test the waters.
But I was like, maybe toxic masculinity might fit on me this year. It didn't. It never grew into me. So
that's cute.
That was one of the moments. And I think about that every time I think about using those words in a song, even if it like might make for a cool bar. I'll be like, would I say this in conversation?
Right.
No, I'm not gonna put it in there because I don't want to put on this image that's not me. Even if there is some type of inflation, and between me as a person and what I put on record, not that much of an inflation.
Yeah,
my head ain't that big.
That's real. Because when I think of LA VanGogh, I envision a beautiful, handsome, talented, respectful gentleman. I see you as a gentleman. Come on, work. Come on, face. Come on, sir. We love it. We love it to the girls. And I'm hearing like that deliberate intention kind of like backs that up. Like I don't know you like personally, but when like I see you and listen to your music, it matches.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
That's very affirming to hear.
Yeah, it matches. I appreciate it.
Sometimes I think that like I be rapping and I'm like, people don't believe that that's me. But really? I'm glad to hear that. I don't.
What do you think people think about you as an artist? So I know you don't give a fuck, which is healthy. Yeah. Which I'm working on, but it
goes in.
Yeah.
It filters through.
Yeah.
It's received sometimes.
Word.
And that's just life.
What's the word again? Misconception. Misconceptions.
I think you're trying to put together misconstrued and misconception.
It goes right? Like I mean,
English is whatever you want it to be. I make up words all the time.
Hey man.
I call chicken chimkin.
Okay.
So like,
because you come from.
I don't know. It's just something I saw on the Pitbull page, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever. So I'm like, I'm calling everything chimkin from now on.
I feel you.
I'm such a sap, like in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's what what were we talking about?
Well, we was talking about misconceptions about you. Right. Do you think that not to say that people try to play you or try to like see you as a simp, but like, do people think that like what are some misconceptions about you?
I don't think so.
About LA.
If the indirect question was, do people think I'm a simp? I don't know. I don't care.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that was the question. I think it was because we were talking about how I see your music and like your music and your image like matches with you being like a gentleman and you being inviting, soft-hearted.
What other people have? It's been a year like since I've been out in the world. I can say for myself that a lot has changed. So just feedback that I might get from my coworkers or partners, friends that I just ask questions, like how they receive my presence and how I show up. I am told that
Taurus,
I am I'm a lot of things, but like the first things that come to my mind and like how people might perceive me when they first meet me is sometimes standoffish, cold. emotionally closed off. Like I think that ties in with cold. Firm.
I feel that.
Firm with
boundaries.
Yeah. And easygoing.
Yeah.
Easygoing is a common one.
I think that's what I was getting at earlier. Like the surprise factor that I was coming around to when I was talking about like the nervousness I was feeling with you. Something I've been like quoting myself on is like, I'm doubting niggas. Like I'm doubting everybody now. And like when you like, you know, when you doubt more people, it creates more room to be pleasantly surprised. So it's like, I am like pleasantly surprised. I was like, you know, and I don't doubt you in like the worst way. It's like, I doubt you in the best way. Like I give you the benefits of the doubt. I give you the benefit of the doubt to be a shy person. I give you the benefit of the doubt to give people their space. I give you the benefit of the doubt to just be more reclusive, just more to yourself, more introverted. And then talking to you is like you're warm, you're open, you're very chill, very calm. My best friend is the same way. He's a Taurus. Like he a real like laid back dude, just need some eggs and a beer in the morning.
Exactly.
And
it's all about pleasure, relaxation, comfort, senses. That's all. That's what we're about. That's what Tauruses are about.
Definitely. Do you so like your music makes me feel like romantic. When I was listening to Japanese Silk, I felt romanticized a little bit. Like it felt like it was a song that was like for me, for women, for the ladies, like that I could see myself in. What does your romance entail? What is romance to you?
What is my romance life like? Like what?
No, not your romance life, but like just what is romance to you? Okay, come on. It's game show day. What is a dream date with LA?
What is a dream date with LA?
Yeah, make a dream date.
Okay, so
come on.
All right, so it's warm. Location doesn't necessarily matter, just the circumstances. Okay. It's warm. It's a sunny day.
Like hot or just like
70s with a nice breeze. So like you're not sweating, but you're not cold enough to put on a hoodie.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Water nearby, so an ocean, a lake.
Do you still stay south?
Yeah.
Great.
I do.
Love it.
South. And let's see. So we got water, we got sun, we got snacks, open conversation, honesty, a little joint, couple of joints, backwoods if you're nasty.
Oh,
some water, an art museum.
Okay.
And if we're in the car, some good music.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm a pretty easy
simple
guy. Like, my maintenance is all about character, not so much about actionable things. You know, I mean, your character becomes your action, but I care about you as a person. Any moment can be fun to me if I enjoy you.
Absolutely.
So
I think that like as a woman planning a date takes a little bit more precaution. So I really would like to measure it up as like, hey, let's just go for a walk. And then, you know, after some few FaceTimes, we'll be comfortable and acquainted. But, you know, the first dinner day or the first movie day kind of like puts like a boundary. But in the event that I'm comfortable after a few phone conversations and a few walks and I'm not pressured to go upstairs, I would like invite you over to my house, maybe cook for you and like, you know, smoke, talk, and hey, I'm a great cook. I give it up to myself the first night. So, you know. But that's
myself on the first night.
I would.
That's facts though.
Yeah, like I'm a bomb ass like cook. Like and like, you know, I prepare for a night. Like like I said, I like the details.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't like you feel like you ain't been here before because you haven't, you know. So it's like you want to come back.
Okay.
It's like your favorite establishment. A cruise mall. Charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
I do it.
That's a word. Like, that
it is. I just learned it like last summer.
True.
Like
same.
I don't even know if I was saying charcuterie before. It was a charcuterie before, but when everybody started saying charcuterie, Lord, I was in it too.
Charcuterie
board.
Man.
Because it goes with wine.
Yeah, like I get it. There was this tweet going around that was like, replace movie names with the word coochie. The comment section had me in shambles.
I love those memes.
Look, man.
Yeah.
So many movies. I can't even start. Like,
let's see.
Here. No, you are just gonna go into the rabbit hole. Don't do
I
it.
was.
You're gonna do it because you're just not gonna stop. How
Stella
got a coochie bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Are you like a flower? Do you consider yourself a gentleman?
Yes.
Well, you answered my question. My question was like, are you a flowers and like open doors type of gentleman?
Man, I brought you flowers.
You did. You really did.
I love some flowers. They're so happy.
I appreciate this. Like, I really truly do. Like,
So yeah, that answers your question.
Yes, it does answer my question. I'm a sucker for flowers.
I like plants. I mean, I'm not a plant dad, but I like to gift. I like to gift plants.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I can be a romantic person. The majority of the time, I'm a chill person though. And I think in some of the relationships I've had, that may be to my detriment. To like where I give myself space to have space.
Yeah.
You know, especially when I'm going through some things like what I was going through last year. I process within my own space.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I'm not like a text you, call you every day type of person.
That's real.
I'm super easygoing. Like when I see you, that's when I interact with you. Like I try to keep expectations reasonable and realistic. I'm not looking. My outlook on relationships, I think, is not what a lot of people think about relationships. And I'm not searching for marriage. I don't want kids.
You don't want children?
Nope.
At all?
Nope. No, I don't.
Okay.
So that just changes the dynamic of like how I date. My boundaries around dating.
Yeah.
I consider myself solo polyamorous. So
okay.
You know, I'm pretty easygoing, and you know, back to the point of like, that's why I may be seeming to be cold sometimes. But on the opposite end of that spectrum, I am very romantic. I think I'm very engaging. I think that I can be a provider of love, of gifts. You know, if somebody's into that, not nothing crazy, but like thoughtful stuff. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like I just show up like this. I show up as me. You know, wherever I go.
No, I'd annoy the fuck out of you.
You would annoy me?
Annoy the fuck out of you. I'm a bug. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what you doing?
I mean, like I like phone calls. You know what I'm saying? I like phone calls. I like text messages, and I understand the space because I feel like I am more responsible when I'm like to myself. But I also really, really appreciate just having like someone there and just having someone to rely on. Like that's really hard to come by. And me being such an independent person, when I meet someone like I can rely on like consistently and consecutively, like I don't want to say I need that, but I'm okay with saying like I need people in my life. I'm completely fine with saying that. Like I can think on my hand 5 people that if I call, they'll make some shit pop off for me.
Absolutely.
And like, I'm cool with that. And it's another fight if I need some shit to go down. I'm cool with that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool with like needing those people. But when I think about a romantic relationship, I don't want to say it's like a fear of trying to like feeling like I have to prove myself, but maybe it is. Like if I feel like someone is like a little too spaced from me, it's like, what do you need to see that I am someone that you should be, that not you should be with, who is capable of like taking care of you too. That's just me though. But my coming out of like a really bad relationship, my idea of relationships completely totally changed. Like, well, I did not want to get in no relationship. Like I did not want no title. I did not want like just none of that drama. You know what I'm saying? I don't like drama. I don't like mess. I live in like a stress-free world, like real calm, real cool, real easy, real breezy. And I like that. And like a title just adds that. stress,
psychological weight, and we don't even know where it comes from.
Yeah,
this is exactly. I agree with you.
Yeah, I really tried to like do the whole open relationship thing. The problem with that is very manipulative when it comes from like a very insecure, unstable person. Like you can't do that. And also me being a queer woman, it's like, yeah, of course you're okay with me sleeping with other women, but like that's your dream boat, you know? Like it's
self-motivated.
Yeah, but that's another conversation for another day.
Man, or we're still about 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
Talk to me. What you feel?
There was a lot that you said that I feel like we could just talk about, you know?
I hope I'm not talking too much.
You're not. This is this is a podcast. People are literally listening to us to talk.
This is a podcast.
They want our talking.
Hey, this is the Real Hawaii Chicago with LA and Laura. Come on.
Am I right or am I right?
You're always right.
I'm right. Not always. I wish so. But
do you think the romance is dead?
No. Like, what do you mean? Like in the world or?
Well, when I wrote that question, I was thinking about you remind me of Love Jones a little bit.
Wow. I don't know if that's a compliment or
it's a compliment. I meant it as a compliment. Like I could see you like going to a record store and be like, "Can I play you something?" And you might play somebody something. They might be like heavenly surprised. Like I think that's cool, but also like just the love, the energy of Love Jones. Let me tell you something. I thought Love Jones was a bigger success than Bodyguard.
Bodyguard.
Exactly. Come on now. You don't even know what Bodyguard is.
Bodyguard.
You don't even know what Bodyguard is. Exactly. Bodyguard with Whitney Houston. See?
Oh, right. Okay.
Love Jones is. What you think is bigger?
Love Jones. I mean, clearly.
Come on. Nobody has ever.
I didn't even know. What did you say it was called?
The Bodyguard.
The Bodyguard, right.
What? Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner?
Well, I don't know. There are a lot of movies I haven't seen that I would probably get shunned for.
Yeah.
Or that I don't like. That people are like, I love this movie. Lion King, for example. I'm just like, mid.
I'm the same way.
Mid.
Yeah. I like movies that like nobody has like ever like really seen on top of. Have you ever seen A Bronx Tale?
A Bronx Tale? I've heard of it. I haven't.
With Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
Great movie. Yeah, but
the romance.
Yes.
The romance, is it dead?
Yeah. That's why I was talking about with the Love Jones reference.
Okay.
Where he was spitting that poem. And he was talking about all the things that we sum up romance to be that are actually that we see more common around us. You know, that's actually what romance is. I
think there are so many things that can be romantic. Like, you can have romance between, friends, amongst. I think you can have romance and affection. Like, I think I couple those words together sometimes. And when I think like romance, I think about affection. I think about connection. And to my point of like not being someone that talks to someone all the time, it's like I don't think constant communication is equivalent to the depth of the relationship. So saying that to say that you can have so much depth within so many different relationships, platonic, romantic, familial. Why can't I take my homie out to eat? Why can't I tell my homie I love them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell my roommate, my brother all the time, like, I love you, bro. Like, for no reason. I just pop in the room. How you doing?
Yes.
Love you, and sneak out like Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson into the bushes.
Into the bushes.
And I'm out of there. All I came to say was I love you.
No, I feel you. Support more platonic friendschips.
But just platonic intimacy.
Yes, there we go. Platonic intimacy. That's what I was looking for. Because like I want to be able to like hug my like girl best friends and like kiss their cheek. Pre-COVID of course, but I'm saying like I really like yearn for that. But it's like somewhere it's like, are you gay? And then it's like yeah, I am, but it's like I'm not on that with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just like really like. I really love you. Also, I'm the only child, so I don't have any siblings, and me and my mom's relationship is like a growing relationship. So, like, receiving hugs from her now feels like it like makes me like kind of uncomfortable. So it's like I still want that. I still need that. Like I love hugs. I love affection. I think that's what it comes from. Like
and that can exist. I think so many things can exist in so many relationships.
Yeah.
And you can have that. You deserve that.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, but I do see the other side of it. Like you mentioned, like some people may think that it's more than that. And I think there's a lot of security and safety necessary for that to happen.
Yeah.
Which leads me to a point of like relationships take time. I think in respect to the question about like romance being dead is that it dies after 3 months for a lot of people.
I say that it's all hot 3 weeks in.
Right. And you in love and you just met this person and then a year down the line you realize you're just now understanding that person as a person, not as who they show them to you. And I think that's to the point of like relationships take time. And that's more so why I am the way that I am about relationships, because there's no way I can know if I want to commit to somebody if I haven't even known you a year. I haven't even seen you go through anything yet. You haven't seen me go through anything. You haven't had the chance to respond. I don't know how you treat homeless people on the street. I don't know what you really care about.
That's fact.
How can I say that like I truly love who you are within, this short amount of time?
That's fact.
And that's not to discount the affection and the depth of emotion you feel for somebody when you're meeting somebody new. It's exciting. But realistically, relationships take time.
Yeah.
And I adjust myself to that and leave a lot of space for love to just exist.
At least you're honest about it. You're honest about it. I feel you. Yeah. I really feel you. It's just like sometimes it's hard because it's like, so
everybody's different.
Everybody is different. It's like some people like you just want, and you're just like, damn, just can't have you. But you consider yourself like an open polyamorous, right?
I think the term is solo polyamorous.
Solo polyamorous.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like I've talked about this before, like on another guest, but like that's what I was talking about. Like it sounds like sometimes like you want someone for like what you see or like what they show you. And I guess it's about having that certainty of like knowing who you are and like knowing what your wants are. And it's just sometimes it just feels like two ships missing each other sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you ever?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Like I think that like if I wanted to like be with someone who had their boundaries, and I, not to say I don't have respect for boundaries, but I just wanted more than what their boundaries could accommodate. I think that there was a point in time where I would try to make myself flexible to that.
Okay. I see
what I'm saying? And I think that now, like with growing up and like seeing like the woman that I'm involving myself to, I'm like circumferencing myself around my boundaries. And so it's like when you circle back around to those people who had those boundaries, it's like now we on two different ships. We on two different courses. You know what I'm saying? And that comes across a lot of times. And I kind of want to use that as a segue to my other question. So with you being solo polyamorous, what is the difference between polyamory and polygamy? Can you explain that to me?
That's a good question.
Because like isn't one like just like open relationships with many people, and then the other is like with like y'all fuck each other, or y'all have like some type of interchange?
It's like a cult. I don't know.
A cult?
I mean, I was gonna say cohort. I was gonna say cohort, not a cult. But hey, there are some situations that can be very culty.
Yes.
But I think that's the gist of it. I don't think I'm the good person to ask. I haven't picked up the ethical slut in months. It's been a while since I tapped into it, so I don't know if I would give the proper. I mean, we can always Google it.
We can always Google it. I think I talked about it with Cash. Shout out DJ Cashera. I think I talked about it with Onyx and Kennedy.
Okay.
Shout out to them too. But I'm pretty sure.
I think you had, in short, polyamory is the act of having intimate relationships with more than one person at the same time. A polyamorous person might have or might be open to having multiple romantic partners, Polygamy, on the other hand, involves being married to multiple partners.
Got it. So it's like a sister wives type of thing. Maybe that's
everybody's involved in the relationship. Whereas I feel like polyamory is more so like I may be involved in a relationship with one person and then with this other person, but they may not have as close of a relationship to each other.
Yeah. Do people ever like misconstrue it for a bachelor lifestyle?
I guess if that's what people want.
But you don't care. I mean, I know you don't care, but
I mean, I think that's essentially what a lot of people are trying to communicate when they say, "Oh, we just talking." I'm just talking to multiple people. And talking can mean so many different things. Like once you reach over 13, it's
I remember talking. I remember the talking phases. You know I crave the talking phases.
Right.
I crave the talking phases.
But I mean, that's essentially.
But I need a talking phase for like 6 months.
I don't know. Terms are just like so. They can be so freeing and they can also be so confining. Yeah. So like when I say the word like I'm dating somebody, what I really mean is like I'm getting to know somebody without restricting access to my own bodily desires. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting to know you, but I also like to have sex. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little fine. In those ways. I have boundaries. Don't take that the wrong way, but and I think that's what a lot of people mean, when they say I'm just talking to somebody. But there's a lot of miscommunication, lack of communication that happens in a lot of situations where you may hear, well, I'm talking to multiple people, or a lot of people are non-monogamous anyway. They just lie about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, cheating on someone is non-monogamy, and you can do that consensually. It's just that people should have the choice to opt in or not. And if that's not somebody that's going to tolerate that and wants a more monogamous, committed relationship, you should give them the respect to choose that and have that and not get in the way of that. And if that's not you, the shoe just don't fit. Grab another pair of Foot Locker, got them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, bar.
You'll be all right.
Okay, bar. I think that's the term that everybody floats under. It's just single now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm single. And mingling.
I'm single. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you're single, there's no restrictions, there's no limitations, there's no expectations. Unless like but I guess
reality there is.
Yeah, it depends on if there comes the conversation of timeline. Of how long you have been in interactions with someone. Because I tell, like there's been a lot of men who I am friends with now, who I've had sex with like years ago, and I cut them off because I didn't want to just keep having sex. I want a relationship. And it's like, if you can't give me like dates, I want dates. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying give me a relationship, but at least give me a date. You know what I'm saying? Don't just like
feel appreciated.
Right. Don't just slide to my crib and fuck me.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want that, I had to take my step back. Folks are coming back with like apologies and what I call like reparations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
reparations.
Like, it's like it's a lot of like apologies that I'm owed. That I'm like finally getting now. And it's like, I don't want any interactions with these people. But just understand that, like, I want what I'm deserving of.
And that's what you want. Having anything other than that is not going to make you happy.
Yeah.
So you deserve that. Why not?
Yeah. I appreciate that. I wanted to ask you another question while we're coming to a close.
Say it on me.
What is a hood wife to LA VanGogh?
I don't know. What's a hood wife?
What's a hood wife?
I'm a hood wife. Somebody that's loyal.
Loyalty. Yes.
I guess that's, somebody that's down for you.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
That's real.
I don't know how to answer this question.
I ask all my guests this question because you're on the Real Hoodwives Chicago. Like a hood wife.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
Real Hoodwives, Real Housewives. I'm trying to find a correlation to have a cooler answer.
No, it's however you feel it, however free you want it to be. Someone told me that what the fuck did he say? He said, damn, what the fuck was it? Men men are loyal and women are faithful. I don't really know. It was some bullshit, but it kind of made me think on it back then. But I feel like
sexist.
It sounds a little sexist now that I'm saying it out loud. You know what I'm saying? It sounds a little sexist. But I think in the context of what they were trying to say, I think that, I don't know.
Because when you really think about it, that's the answer you come up with. I don't know what they were trying to say.
Yeah, I actually
What are you really trying to say?
Actually,
I had this conversation with my sister's most recent boyfriend, where we were on FaceTime together, and I heard him use the word female, and we had like an hour-long conversation where I'm just sitting. It's not like I sat there and like lectured him and told him like you can't use that word, because I asked him, I was like, how do you perceive that word, and why don't you say males when you say men, when you say guys? And we just like broke it down, and I got him to admit that like he views using the word male or female as like someone that like takes value from something, like devalues a situation, and he sees men and women, those words, he sees them through a lens of adding value. And so I was able to circle that around, like, so knowing we just had this conversation, how do you use the word female? Yeah. And then it was a beautiful moment for me to have that with somebody that's, especially dating my sister, is like,
oh, you on it.
I'm on it.
You're on it.
Look, you got to have respect. In order to have respect for her, you have to have an understanding and respect for women as a whole. Yeah. And we should probably have another conversation about gender and sexuality that will contribute better to this point that I'm trying to get to. But I feel like I had to show up for my sister and just women in general, I guess.
I appreciate you doing that. I had a conversation with someone about the same thing, and it took me like stepping away and then seeing him the next time to have a conversation about it. Like, but the most simplest answer I said to him, I was like, because you wouldn't call me a black female, you would call me a black woman. And like, I basically explained everything to him, but like that one sentence like made it click for him. And he was like, oh my gosh, like, I get it. You just gotta put it in a way where it's like, I understand. I was like, that's true. Like, it's supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be a minute for everybody to understand. So where can we find you? How can we support you? First of all, this has been a very fluid conversation. This has been a dope conversation.
It has. This time flew.
I really appreciate you. This is the first episode where we're going an hour and a half.
First time.
The first time. So I guess we end this. I guess we're really doing this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
How can we support you? Where can we find you? What you got going on? Et cetera, et cetera.
Shameless plug. So you can find me on Instagram at LA VanGogh. Twitter, same thing. Website, like Apple, forceofgravity.com. They got my IG on the screen.
Yes, they do.
So you can follow me there. You can support me by sharing what I post on Instagram. I will put my album Shapeshifter Volume 1, which dropped in April. Officially, all of the songs were out as of April. You can stream that wherever you prefer. If you would like to make a donation to me directly, hit me on the IG and we can have a different conversation. What else do I have going on? I'm just promoting Shapeshifter Volume 1, A Force of Gravity, which is an amazing body of work. Shout out to LA VanGogh. He snapped. And I am also a recording and mixing engineer. If there are any people watching that, need some work, I'm really good at what I do. Okay. And you
got a client.
You could just hit me up, and just, like I said, I'm a pretty easygoing person, as you've seen in this conversation. If you feel like there's something you want to reach out and ask me, feel free. I don't bite, just don't tweet. Period. And is there any other questions I'm missing?
And please also make sure that you go and listen and go support Japanese Silk.
Yep, that's on the album. Video's out. Stream the video, right?
Stream the video.
Trip Japanese Silk on YouTube.
I got you.
Fire. Thank you for the alley-oop. Shout out to all my inspirations. You know who you are. I hope I tell you enough. Yeah. And that's really it. Love on yourself. Breathe. Get inside and outside of your body today or tomorrow. Go see some sun. Read a book. Tell somebody you love them. Tell yourself you love yourself. And other than that, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Yvonne Loren, this has been fun.
Absolutely.
I'm not nervous anymore.
Thank you so much. Well, it has been an absolute honor and absolute pleasure talking to you, vibing with you, being in community with you. Thank you all so much to my fellow Hoodwives. Please make sure that you follow and support at LA VanGogh, and make sure that you follow us at Hoodwives of Shy. We go live every other Thursday, 7 p.m. in collaboration with my wonderful, beautiful, amazing team at Chicago For Real on Twitch. Thank you to my team. Thank you to all my fellow Hoodwives of Chicago. You have tuned in to another episode of The Real Hoodwives of Chicago, a real show with hot sauce stories. Yes.